In this tutorial, I will be demonstrating how to use MACg to write a scientific paper. What is MACg? MACg is an all-in-one AI platform that supports the scientific writing process. It is purpose-built to support content creation workflows in life sciences. From literature searches and review to drafting, automatic citations, creating slide presentations, reviewing your work, creating images and charts to add to your content. Before we dive into the demonstration, there are some key points that I want to make. Number one, MACg is an evidence-first platform, which means you have to point it to the knowledge that you want it to use. And this helps reduce hallucinations. So upload the articles, point it to PubMed, turn on the web toggle so that it can use grounded information. Second, you have to give MACg good instructions. If you're not sure of how to instruct MACg, do the best you can. And once it gives you the output, ask it to refine it based on what is missing. Third, for very large documents, consider working in sections instead of trying to do it all at once. That's how you get the best output. You can always combine the sections later into one complete document. Next, be prepared to review your work. Although MACg is very accurate and has a low rate of hallucinations, machines can be wrong. You're the expert and you need to review the final output before you sign off on it. Let's go to the first step of writing our scientific paper. The first thing is gather your evidence. Remember earlier I told you that MACg does literature searches? It does that through PubMed. You can also do it through the web toggle for certain types of information like guidelines, for instance, that may not be in PubMed. For our topic, which is about GLP-1 and GIP agonist, I needed some articles that I did not have already. So I turned on the PubMed toggle inside chat and I asked MACg to find me open source articles about the history of GLP-1 and GLP and GIP agonist. It found me some good articles that I will download to my desktop and then upload into MACg to create the content. So you can click on any one of these, find the article. It's open source, so you can get the PDF, download it to your desktop, and then upload it back into MACg, into your reference library. Now that I've gathered all the evidence that I want to use, the next step is to start a new conversation and attach my articles to my session. If they're already in my reference library, I will simply navigate to that by clicking on this icon right here. But they're not yet, they're still on my desktop. So I will navigate to that folder and upload them. Now I've uploaded all my articles, all 18 of them. I can see them here. And they were automatically saved in my reference library as well. The next step is I want to create an outline using MACg. So I've written a very short prompt here for MACg to write an outline for a review article that will be published in a major scientific journal. Length is 3,500 words. Topic, GLP-1 and GIP agonist for type 2 diabetes, obesity, and beyond. I've included some areas that MACg should focus on. So history, development, the mechanism of action, the efficacy, and a few others. So let's see what the outline looks like that MACg creates for us. MACg has used my articles based on the instructions I have given. Let's see what our outline looks like. So 3,500 word review article, proposed title, and a proposed subtitle. So it understands what I'm trying to do because it has written an outline for a high impact clinical journal. Suggested some word allocations, and then it's gone section by section to give me ideas on what should be in each section. So from here, an author would review this outline, and if you want to make any changes to it, there's some areas you want MACg to remove, or you want to add additional information, you can give additional instructions and MACg will modify the outline. It's also suggested some tables. It's always good to do an outline when you're writing a large document because that helps ground MACg in what it should focus on. We'll assume that we like the outline that MACg has provided. Now we'll tell MACg to write the article. Let's see what MACg has given us in our first draft. I have my introduction. I have my history and drug development that I asked for. I have a mechanism of action, a section on the efficacy in type 2 diabetes. Notice that MACg highlights certain numbers and data, so it makes it easier for you to review. It's giving me a table, a safety section, cardiovascular and kidney benefits section, the place in therapy that I asked for, emerging uses are included, comparison between the two agents, and the conclusion section. Notice that my citations are automatically added by MACg. Also notice that these hyperlinked citations, if you click on them, it goes to that original article on the web. This is also sent into the MACg citation generator, which is a unique feature of MACg that other platforms do not have. So you have automatic citations for traceability to verify where the information came from. When we click Create Text Document, MACg will send all these citations to the citation generator. So let's do that. Your draft article is now in the MACg editor. The editor has all the features that you need to shape your content. And the citation generator, you get to it by clicking that icon, and all your citations are in the citation generator. In future videos, we will show how to use the citation generator. But one cool feature is you can create a bibliography by clicking on this button. As you move things around in your document, MACg will automatically rearrange the citations for you in the bibliography and renumber your citations in the text. Our original conversation is still available, and we can ask MACg to make changes to the document, add more information, change some things. Tables and figures are best created separately after your initial draft so that MACg can focus on that specific task. So I would like a table that compares semaglutide versus tirzepatide for weight loss, and I've asked MACg to label that as table number 2. So as you can see here, MACg has created me a more extensive table from 3 different studies. We want something that's a little bit more succinct, so let's ask MACg for that. We now have a more succinct table, and we can copy this table, or we can click Add to Document. In this instance, let's copy the table. Let's place it here, and here's our table, and we can massage it, change font sizes, type in here, it's editable, and we can use any of these functions to shape and modify the table. Another big benefit of MACg is that you can create figures, illustrations, infographics, and other types of images with its powerful image generator. Let's see how that would work for our article. I've written a prompt: create a high-level illustration of the mechanism of action of GLP-1 and GIP agonist, and show the differences in how these agents work. To make this even more accurate and specific, I could take the exact description of the mechanism of these drugs and plug it into my prompt, and MACg will create my figure based on that. Let's see what it gives us with our very high level prompt. Okay, MACg has created an illustration for us. I can add it to my document, or ask MACg to make changes to the figure, or even create a whole different one. I'm going to select copy, so I can paste it exactly where I want in my document. I will place my figure right here. So now this is now beginning to look like a very professional written article. We still have to review all of this content against the references to make sure that it's accurate. We can ask MACg to make any changes for us, and then we can add them to the document. We can make changes ourselves as well, just by typing like you would in any document. We can change the bolded text to normal fonts using the editor, just like that. We'll do that throughout the whole document. The last step is to add our bibliography section. To do that is very easy. Go to the citation generator and just select Insert Bibliography. This is AMA format. We can choose APA or MLA. All the references and citations that were used in the article are now added with a link to the articles on the web. This demonstrates how MACg supports traceability as well as governance. Now, if we're happy with everything, we can export our document either as a PDF, but most likely as a Word document so that you can edit it further. In this tutorial, we have demonstrated how you can use MACg for search for evidence using the PubMed feature. Bring in all your evidence and import them into MACg. Write an outline for your article. Draft the article based on the outline. Create detailed tables and also figures. Transfer all that content to the text editor where you can further edit it. We showed how to access the citation generator to insert your bibliography. When you're done, export all your content. Note that MACg automatically saves all your work in the work library. And here's the document that we were just working on. The chat session is always kept with the document so that you can always go back and verify the work that you did and how you came about developing that content, and even continue to use MACg to help you shape the content. From your work library, you can also export the document.